from The Rat Race, Rich Dads. How to become a rich kid by following Rich Dad's advice.
Okay, that's a really great story, but what does it have to do with me? I mean, it's not like you can even get comic books on a newsstand anymore, much less make money off of them. And with movie and video game rentals, there's no way anyone's gonna pay to rent a comic book.
Well, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't work today, but that's not the point. The point is, even when he was a kid, Robert didn't start finding the opportunities until he opened his mind and started looking. It's not like he's the only one either. Lots of kids out there have found their own opportunities. That's what you need to keep an eye out for if you want to become rich.
Okay, so did this whole opportunities thing work for you?
Well, I'm not rich yet, if that's what you're asking, but I'm working on it. After I read that story, I figured there was a lot more that I needed to learn. So I spent a lot of time looking around for ideas about how to make money and doing things like reading books, going to websites, stuff like that. I learned pretty fast that if I really wanted to get rich, doing things like mowing lawns and my paper route weren't going to do it. So I started looking around to see if I could find an opportunity for myself. After a while, I had an idea. The newspaper I was working for had new routes opening up, and I heard my boss gripping that they were having trouble getting enough people to deliver for them. Meanwhile, I had a lot of friends who had asked me about my paper route and wanted to know what they could do to get one for themselves. Their big problem was that a lot of them couldn't get the job because they didn't have bikes to run the routes. So that's when I saw my opportunity. I came up with a plan on how I can make more money without having to actually deliver more papers. I told the newspaper that if they gave me all the paper routes for my part of the city, I'd make sure all the papers got delivered. The boss agreed, so I hired my friends to deliver the papers. My mom and dad had a couple of old bikes that they didn't use anymore, and I had a bike I wanted to replace. My friends who didn't have bikes could rent them from me to make their deliveries. My friends were happy because they got the paper routes they wanted, and the newspaper was happy because it didn't need to worry about getting the papers delivered. Before long, not only did I have my new bike, but I still had money coming in from the bike rentals.
Wow, I guess there's a lot I need to learn about money. Where do I start?
Well, the first thing I had to learn was how to read a financial statement.
A financial statement? What's that?
You can't build a skyscraper without a good blueprint, right? Building money is like that. You need to have a good blueprint. That's kind of what a financial statement is. Once you learn how to read one, you can find out where all your money is going and how to make more of it. This top part is called an income statement. Some people call it a profit and loss statement because it shows all your income coming in and your expenses going out. And what is left is your cash flow. Down there towards the bottom, that part is the balance sheet. It shows your assets and liabilities. And once you know how they work together, you'll be able to see how your money flows between them. It's pretty easy to get the hang of. Take this part. The income statement, it tracks all the money you make and the money you spend every month. For most people, the money they make gets sucked away by their expenses. But when you have more income than expenses, the remaining income is called cash flow. That's the kind of money you want. It's the amount of money you have at the end of the month. The bottom section is called a balance sheet. That's because it lists all your assets and liabilities. If you are doing things right.
Assets? Liabilities?
Oh, sorry, man. Assets are things that put money in your pocket. So if you buy an asset, it makes more income and results in a cash flow pattern like this.
Okay, I get that part, but what kinds of things are assets?
Well, assets can be stuff like savings accounts, businesses, or even an apartment complex or property that you own, like the bicycles that I rented to my friends. If it gives you money without you working, then it's an asset. Now, liabilities, on the other hand, those are things like mortgages, magazine subscriptions, car loans, or credit card balances. When you spend money on liabilities, that money is gone. You'll never see another cent of it. Liabilities create a cash flow pattern like this. They take money out of your pocket. Once you understand how assets and liabilities work, you can tell really quickly if someone is actually rich or not.
Dude, if someone's rich, they're rich. It's not like there's a lot of room for doubt.
Well, there is actually. To tell if people are really rich and not just looking rich, all you have to do is look at the things they spend their money on and what their cash flow pattern looks like. Like when people are just starting out in life, their cash flow pattern looks like this. Since they don't have any assets or liabilities, their jobs bring money in and pay for their expenses. But once they start to bring in more money, they go out and buy new houses and cars. Then their pattern ends up looking like this. Sure, they're making more money, but with the extra dough, all they've bought is more liabilities, which will just suck their monthly cash flow down to nothing real fast.
Okay, wait, so let me get this straight. A better plan would be to spend my money on assets, right? Because the assets will make me more money, which means money in my pocket and I get rich.
Right. If you want to become rich, just buy assets instead of liabilities.
So assets are like money growing on trees. Wait, time out. There's got to be a catch to this. If it's really this easy, then everybody would be rich.
No, dude. Honest. No catch. Most people are just scared.
What? Are you mental? Why would anyone be afraid of becoming rich? That makes 0 sense, man.
Well, it's not exactly like they start out that way. See, the problem is when most people are younger, they have no expenses except for maybe the occasional movie, dinner, or whatever. But then they want more money to buy stuff, so they rush out and get a job. So they have some money coming in, and next thing you know, they're buying clothes, cars, even houses. So they end up having lots of stuff. But they also end up with a ton of bills and debit, like car payments and credit cards. They work like crazy because they know if they don't pay their bills, they'll lose all the expensive stuff they've bought. So when they actually can save up some extra money, they're freaked out about doing anything with it. They're scared they might lose their jobs, and that means they can't pay those bills. So they get stuck in that trap, scared to death, working like crazy and never getting ahead. That's called the rat race. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a job.
I was about to say,
everyone needs some way of getting started, and a job is one way to make money and a great way to learn about a field that interests you. But that job's not gonna make you rich. It's the things that you do, like buying assets and not racking up a bunch of credit card bills, that'll make you rich.
Wait, but let's say I get some sweet job that pays huge amounts of cash. Can I get rich like that?
Some folks think you can, but they're kind of fooling themselves into thinking they're rich because they have a fancy car or because they have a fat paycheck. But newsflash, dude, having the sweet wheels or even having cold hard cash doesn't mean you're rich.
Okay, wait, you lost me again.
Okay, let's look at it this way. Even if you have a great job that pays you a lot of money, what happens if you lose your job?
Well, since I'm not working, there's no paycheck, which means I have no money coming in, so my cash flow gets nailed, right?
Exactly. Since all your money's coming from a job, you're still at its mercy. And if your job goes away,
just spit it out, man. What is it that makes you rich or not?
well, turn the situation around for a second. What would happen if you had assets that brought in enough money to pay for everything?
I guess in that case it wouldn't matter whether I lost my job or not, because I'd still have my assets bringing money in, right?
Exactly. If you do that, you never have to work again in order to take care of things. And that's what being rich is. The really cool part of it is that when it comes to getting rich, we've actually got an advantage over most grown-ups.
What? Hello, I don't make any money. That's why I had to sit out going on the eliminator, remember?
Yeah, true. But you don't have a truckload of expenses and liabilities either. You and I can work to score some extra money to buy stuff, but we don't need to have a job. So if we watch it now and build up assets by the time we're older, we won't have a lot of the expenses and liabilities to keep us from being way rich. Escape from the rat race. Rich Dads. How to become a rich kid by following Rich Dad's advice. If you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification